In UK, people from South Asian community have worse outcomes for chronic respiratory disease like COPD, asthma, interstitial lung disease than the others. They're diagnosed at a later stage, suffer from severe symptoms, get admitted to the hospital, and die from the condition. It is also confirmed in research that chronic respiratory disease is linked to mental health disorders, heart disease, diabetes, irritable bowel syndrome. So, chronic respiratory disease is a serious condition. But the good news is it is treatable with the right respiratory care at the right time. The term South Asian refers usually to people from countries origin from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka. And the Indian community among the South Asian community are the largest ethnic group in UK. This is confirmed by the figures from the National Statistics Office in 2021. About 1.9 million Indian community resides in UK compared to 1.4 million people in 2011. So definitely there is an increase in the Indian population residing in UK. When we look into the figures and facts of respiratory disease, 1 in 5 people get affected with respiratory disease, and it is the third leading cause of death in UK after the cancer and the cardiovascular disease. And about 585,000 people have been diagnosed with respiratory disease every year in UK. Among them, half of them have COPD and asthma. Lung cancer, pneumonia, and COPD are the biggest cause of death. Pulmonary rehabilitation is an essential management of respiratory care for patients with chronic lung conditions. It involves a comprehensive and a multidisciplinary program that focuses on the improvement of the physical and emotional well-being of the patients with respiratory disease, such as COPD, asthma, interstitial lung disease, and other lung conditions. When designing and implementing a pulmonary rehabilitation program for South Asian population, it's very essential to consider the unique needs, the cultural beliefs, and the social determinants of health. Hey folks, welcome to Lung Mind channel. For those who are first time watching me, I'm Ms. Devi Sundar, founder of Teletherapies. I'm a respiratory physiotherapist specialized in pulmonary rehabilitation. I'm also a counselor, psychotherapist, and a health coach. I'm passionate to transform lives in people having chronic respiratory disease and mental disorder through a holistic approach. Today, in this video, I'm going to talk about pulmonary rehabilitation for South Asian communities in UK. I've split this video into two parts. In the part one, that is in this video, I'm going to address two questions. One is what are the needs of South Asian, unique needs of South Asian to be considered in the design of the pulmonary rehabilitation, why it is important to address these needs. In the part two, that is my next video, I'm going to address the other two questions. What is the current model of pulmonary rehabilitation in UK and how to deliver an equitable pulmonary rehabilitation? Before we could dive into this video, part one, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel so that you get notified whenever I publish on the topics of lung health and mental health. So without any further ado, let's dive into part one. Racial inequality is a well-known barrier to access pulmonary rehabilitation in UK. Ethnically diverse people, especially from the South Asian communities, are known to have a less access to pulmonary rehabilitation compared to white communities in UK. They're also underrepresented in clinical research trials, and their voices are not being included so far in the health promotion and treatment strategy that were developed relevant to pulmonary rehabilitation. What we do know is South Asian COVID rates were alarming. In the Nature genetic study, scientists from University of Oxford shed light that South Asians have a high-risk gene that was responsible for increased risk of death due to COVID. And there is no strong data in research to identify whether the South Asians perceive pulmonary rehabilitation as effective treatment for them, how much knowledge they have about pulmonary rehabilitation, and the referral rates to pulmonary rehabilitation. And from my experience, I've not seen any South Asians being referred to me while I was working in respiratory care, specifically pulmonary rehabilitation and oxygen therapy services, both in Dublin and in England. My referrals were mostly from the white ethnic groups or the European group. Now, to address the question of what are the unique needs we should be considering designing pulmonary rehabilitation care for South Asian communities, I'm going to list down 9 considerations from my knowledge and research. The first one is cultural sensitivity. In UK, we do know there is a common understanding people from non-white ethnic groups suffer from unconscious bias based on their color and appearance. Healthcare providers from white ethnic group have this stereotype perception that certain communities look after each other and they miss out the right care at the right time for those communities. Healthcare providers should consider and be aware of the cultural and traditional beliefs of South Asians and their values of the South Asians and the health practices, what they actually welcome. Understanding the cultural norms and tradition can help in a better understanding of the patient, and their engagement can be promoted, and a better patient outcomes in pulmonary rehabilitation can be achieved, which can give overall improvements in the healthcare management and the UK economy and spending on the respiratory care management as a whole. The second one is the language accessibility, ensuring that the educational materials and the communications available in the languages that is easily understandable by the South Asian communities in the local area. Third thing is health literacy, ensuring that the education materials are presented in a way that is understandable and culturally relevant to the South Asian population would make a huge difference in the engagement of the patients in the pulmonary rehabilitation settings in their local area. The fourth one is personalized intervention. We hear this word being thrown all over the places, and but it is in the practical sense, the delivery is misinterpreted. Customizing a pulmonary rehabilitation program to meet the specific needs and preferences of South Asian population is to consider their dietary habits and beliefs and the religious practices and cultural activities. What do I mean by this? The dietary belief, when we talk about that, the diet plays an important role in South Asian health beliefs. Certain foods are believed to have a medicinal properties, and dietary choices are often influenced by their cultural and religious practices. For example, the herbal teas and tonics, some of them commonly used in South Asian practices, they believe that it is of their health benefit, including for their digestion, relaxation, boosting immunity. Taking into account the dietary preferences and restrictions that might be more unique to the South Asian population would be a better approach in dietary counseling in pulmonary rehabilitation setting. And to add to that, many South Asians prefer natural remedies such as herbal medicines and home remedies for common and some minor health issues. And this actually is a major issue where sometimes they let go of the symptoms and the symptoms get worse stage. So understanding this and giving a right dietary counseling would make a huge difference in delivering the right respiratory care management to those people. And during illness or recovery, again, there may be a certain diets that they believe and certain foods they actually avoid based on their cultural beliefs. And they believe that this leads to healing of their condition. And more so commonly, there is a belief of hot and cold theory in South Asian population in certain cultures. Some cultures hold certain foods or weather conditions and activities as hot or cold that can impact their health. So it is very crucial that we consider these elements and give a right nutritional counseling in pulmonary rehabilitation setting that aligns to their traditional beliefs on the diet and so that we can give more personalized care. When you talk about the religious considerations, in some communities, religious practices and rituals are believed to have healing properties. People may seek blessings from their religious figures or visit temples and mosques or other places of worship for healing, giving a more compassionate view to this and understanding their perception and providing a right advice and counseling might help them to understand what is really important, how they actually can also accommodate the Western medical practice, especially the pulmonary rehabilitation, and also alongside with their religious consideration. The fifth one is family involvement. In many South Asian cultures, family plays a significant role in healthcare decision making. Involving a family member in rehabilitation setting, especially pulmonary rehabilitation, will help them to provide family to get educated so that they can provide the right care to their family member who's going through this respiratory condition, and also alongside attending the pulmonary rehabilitation setting, and some of the advisors and conservative management which they can follow. There will be a right understanding in the family as a whole about the care given to the patient. And this also makes a huge difference in patient's experience, that they are supported by their family and the family is able to understand what they are going through. As we all know that people with chronic respiratory disease have a high degree of anxiety and depression, which can be projected into their relationships inside the family. So it is very crucial that we consider a family involvement in pulmonary rehabilitation setting. And the sixth one is a group-based approach. South Asian communities often place a strong emphasis on the social connections. Offering group-based pulmonary rehabilitation session will enhance their participation and also foster a supportive environment. And the seventh one is a community engagement, partnering with the community organizations or the community leaders, especially related to their religious leaders, would to raise awareness about the pulmonary rehabilitation benefits, would encourage them to participate in their program. And the eighth one is the astrological and planetary influences. In some communities, in South Asian communities, astrological beliefs and planetary influences are considered to impact their health and their health-related decisions and treatment. And the ninth one, the fun one, which I believe is need to be considered, is the stigma around the mental health. Mental health issues can sometimes carry a social stigma in South Asian culture, leading to reluctance in seeking support. And instead, individuals may rely on their family or their community support. And as I mentioned earlier, it is very crucial that a family and a community is engaged in the mental health while taking the pulmonary rehabilitation care in their local area. Now, to answer the question why it is important to address these needs, the unique needs which we discussed earlier, in the design of pulmonary rehabilitation care for South Asian population, is the common reason, and very important reason, I should say, is patient recruitment and retention in pulmonary rehabilitation is very important because it involves patient acceptance of the condition and the behavior change in their attuned routine. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, physiological, security, social, and self-esteem needs are the deficiency needs that arise out of deprivation. Satisfying these lower level of needs is important to avoid unpleasant feelings like anxiety, depression, which are very prominent mental health disorder in patients with chronic respiratory disease. If the healthcare system in place does not understand the diverse needs of the community they serve, it is unlikely to see a positive economic growth of the nation. It's important to remember that the cultural diversities exist within South Asian population, so a tailored approach should be considered according to the individual differences and preferences to provide equitable care and to reduce the barriers to access to pulmonary rehabilitation services. Engaging with the community and involving them in the development of the program can lead to a more successful outcomes. Additionally, ongoing evaluation and feedback from the patients will help ensure the effectiveness and the relevance of the pulmonary rehabilitation program for the South Asian population. Thanks for staying with me until the end of this video. I hope you liked the information shared in this video. If you do like the information shared, please do hit that like button and consider subscribing to my channel. And please do share with your friends and network. That means a lot to me. I will see you in my part 2 video of pulmonary rehabilitation for South Asian communities in UK. Until then, it's bye from me, Devi Sundar.